What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Bars. It is your girl, Savvy Wavy One, Savannah Lee. How's it going, Keltie?
I'm doing amazing. Fabulous. You know what? It's fall. It feels like fall. It was a full fall weekend. I'm in the vibe. How are you doing? In the opposite of fall vibes.
I know, I was going to say, I am in Spain where it's hot constantly and I'm here for it. But what is it like? Like you said, it's raining today. Is it cold? Like, has the temperature dropped yet?
It's dropped, but it's like you can wear a sweater and shorts dropped. You know what I mean? Like you can't get away with shorts and a t-shirt, but like you get one summer item right now. But you don't have to be full pants, full parka. It's like vest weather, 100%.
Oh, I love a vest.
Yesterday was the perfect fall day. I was like, I even texted my friends. I was like, can we just appreciate it was blue skies, a little crisp air. There was no wind. It was just, I wore a sweater and shorts all day or a long sleeve and vest. I had a cappuccino. It was just enough that you could be out all day, but you wanted like warm, cozy things. I was like, oh, I get a week of it in Canada, but I'm going to embrace it before mayhem comes.
I love that. Honestly, fall is one of my favorite. I think it is my favorite season. Like I just get good vibes and like the smell of it. I don't know. There's something about like new beginnings. Michael and I were just talking yesterday about how much I love wearing sweaters I never get to, or my North Face vest. I have like a black puffy vest from high school. I remember my parents, it was $100 and like they splurged and bought me this vest for Christmas and they're divorced. And it was a 1 year we had Christmas together because I was a brat and I forced them to have Christmas on the same day together with me. And they both bought me the same vest. But I still wear it to this day. I still wear that vest.
It's
been so long. Yeah.
I have a question for you as a Swiftie.
What?
Is it mandatory that fall is your favorite season? Because I feel that's a very Swiftie thing. It's like
it is a very Swiftie thing. I think it's just natural for me. Because I've always loved fall. I've always loved it. Like when I lived
born to be a Swiftie.
I am. I really am. Like, but when I lived at school, like Pullman, Washington had the most beautiful crunchy leaf season. My mom, she made a joke the other day. I saw her in Rome. How fun. She was like having her little Tuscany trip with her friends. And she was like, ooh, I jumped on a crunchy leaf. So she said, you'd be so proud. She's an avid listener to the podcast.
I loved saying hi, but also like the worst part about living on the West Coast is the leaves aren't crunchy. You go to every day. I see these big soggy. And the leaves are massive here in Vancouver. Like they're the size of my head. And every time you just go step, it's just versus Alberta. Like, no. It's a good crunch. It's so satisfying. So I go back to Edmonton in 2 weeks, and if you see me, I'm just going to be crunching things like a mayhem.
Just a big old crunchy. I had my layover in Toronto. That's when I was texting you. Ooh. And Michael's like, where's she from again? And I was like, oh my God, there's Calgary, there's Edmonton. I'm like, I have no idea. All I know is Farmville is what she would tell me.
Farmville? Why would it?
Were you saying it was like country?
No, I was like, Alberta's like the Texas of Canada.
Alberta.
Yeah, Alberta.
See, I'm like, you tell me so many different spots. I'm always thrown off.
We only have 12 provinces. We know your 50 states.
Well, that's on your education system and mine.
That's true. We always make fun of Americans, or is it actually a flex as a Canadian? It's like, I know the 50 states and you can name 2 provinces.
Literally.
Or is that an American flex? Actually, try it. Name a couple provinces. Let's see how many you get. Your name?
I don't want to.
Just try.
No, I'm really bad at geography. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be blasted. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Do Europeans think Americans are exotic or stupid?
Stupid.
Damn. I've been walking around and they'll be like, where are you from? And I'm like, America. And I like right after I say my name, because they're like, what a weird name. And I'm like, it's a capital. But I'm like, I think it is so exotic and cool for them to be European.
Yes.
And I'm like, do they think we live the American dream? Do they think we sound like Selena Gomez? Like one time I was in Greece and they thought I would have known Katy Perry and Michelle Obama because I was American. Yep.
Okay. Well, here's mine from my own opinion of how Europeans, not obviously I'm stereotyping, there's a lot of Europeans, a lot of countries, don't come at me, but a lot of Europeans, their view of America, because you have to figure out, and this is even as a Canadian, the world revolves around America. Hollywood, music, America. So like everyone knows so much about America. Everyone knows the accents, the stereotypes. Like everyone knows about sororities and football. So it's kind of like that's why I was like it's not exotic because there's no mystery. Like the world knows about America. It's America. So you know what I mean? That's why. But there's like there's a lot of like I don't want to use the word cosplaying. That's not right. There is this like in Sweden. There's a lot of people who like have this fascination with like old school America. So they'll fly the flags and they'll listen to country music and they'll have trucks and it's almost like they like dream of the American dream. So like it's you know how punk is like a genre or being like a nerd or do you know what I mean? There's also like this American genre I feel in Europe that like just kind of a niche. What would be the term? Just interest in that people fall into. Just kind of like you're a Swiftie. There's people in I think Europe who are just like fascinated by America. And I know they probably have specific terms. Like I'm not unbelievably educated in this, but that's where I was like, there's a lot of interest, but there's not a lot of mystery.
Yeah. I also wonder what, like, when they get to America, are they like, wow, your coffees are large? Or even like Michael and I were just saying, we took a bus to a beautiful beach town in Spain.
Yeah.
And like me studying abroad here, I remember like public transportation super normal, super fine to take everywhere. And like New York is as well. But like in other states, it's not as common like to use public transportation, right? And there's not a lot of like accessibility in general.
Similar
and
to
especially
Canada.
being from Washington, we don't have a lot, period. We have like a tram, which is really nice. But the buses can be like, you don't want to go at night. Like bus stops are terrifying sometimes. And I was like, do you think they go on our public transportation? And they're like, dear God, like this is terrifying. Or why does no one go? Like everyone uses Uber. I'm so fascinated because we don't have a good public transportation system in the States, but here it's like amazing and everybody takes it. And that's one thing I'm like, do better, man. Do better.
I know. I think it's where like as someone who grew up in Edmonton that there's public transit, but like it's just not very well structured. Like it's not convenient.
Exactly.
You do it because you don't have the means to have a car. It's not convenience. Versus in like Europe, it's convenient. Like you'll get somewhere faster if you take the train or public transit. And so I think it's just like when we go there, it's not first thought, where's a train we can get on? First thoughts, where's a cab? Versus when I feel a lot of Europeans come to North America, it's shocking that they're like, oh, where's the train station? And you ask someone and they're like, don't take the train. And so like I feel that's where the culture shock is when they come over. Like their first instinct is to look for it. And then they quickly get warned that like, just download this thing called Uber.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting. Well, this brings me to my very first hot take that we all clearly have in common. And that is, I think fairs are really fucking fun. I am 28 years old and I like going on fair rides and I enjoy the fair. Michael and I went to the fair in Barcelona twice this weekend. And the first time we got drunk, went to the fair, amazing. They had this like, do you know that fair ride that everyone has? And I was like, dude, this is universal. Like freaking Europeans have this and America loves their fairs too, right? It's like this boat and you sit on the boat and it just swings you really high back and forth. The one in Spain, you could get into this cage and you could literally just be lifted in the air and fall down in the cage. But like you were in the cage, so you weren't going anywhere, but your body's like moving around. They would never have allowed that. Like where I'm from. So Michael and I literally rode that ride 4 times. We thought it was so fun. We were giggling like crazy with teenage children. And then he literally wasted $50 trying to win me a stuffed animal because I was like, no one's ever won me anything. He won me a lighter. That's all he was able to get for one of them.
It's something.
I'm like, a lighter? Yeah, it's sparkly.
I mean, a lighter is more useful than a toy when you think about it.
That's what I said. But it was the principle of me saying a boy, I've never gone to a fair with a boy. They've never won me a stuffed animal. And he was like, I'm going to win it. And then it's just like, we were thinking, and this is my hot take, is it's so much more rewarding to win the stuffed animal, even though you spent so much money on it, than if you were to just buy the stuffed animal.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's a
Because it's tough
point of
to,
reward. Yeah.
yeah, it's always remember. It's like I earned that. Just like anything in life. You know what is the most useless thing in life? A
What?
medal, a trophy. It's a hunk of
Mm.
plastic. But my God, if you earn that, you like an Olympic medal. It's no like I'm sure those are actually made of gold and all that. But you mean like
Yeah, I'm like, you
technically,
could sell that.
yeah. But like if it wasn't the Olympics, it would just be a hunk of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really not
Yeah.
useful, aside if you're just trying to hit someone or something. But the principle, or just you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's all in the hard work. That should be
I
a
agree.
bumper sticker.
I agree. So that was my first hot take. Fairs are fun, and I
Mhm.
feel like it's very autumny. At least in Washington, our fairs. And I went to the one in Arizona last year. I'm a big fair girl, I guess.
Yeah, I
But
love
it's
it.
always during fall season. So go
Oh
to your
yeah,
local fair, support the local vendors,
get
and
some
like
popcorn.
they didn't have fried butter or anything here, and I was like, good. That's a
Hmm.
weird thing we have.
Yeah.
Um, and then my second one is Aperol. It's so famous here, right? Like
Hmm. Oh
I was
yeah.
in Rome with my mom. Everybody's getting the limoncello, the Aperol. It's so cute. It tastes so bad. I do not like this Aperol thing. It looks like it's supposed to be sweet, but
Hmm.
it's not.
It's
And then it's
tricky,
just like
right?
watered down half Prosecco and
Hmm.
weird Aperol. And
Yeah.
I do not like it. I feel like it doesn't do the job for me. And that's my hot take is cancel Aperol spritz. They're overrated.
I respect it, but once again, we keep ruining champagne. We're trying to add orange in it. We're adding Aperol. Just give me it raw,
I
and I'm good.
agree.
So, but
I
nothing.
agree.
But I'll also drink an Aperol. But like, I'm more likely to order champagne or a prosecco over a mimosa or Aperol in the
Same.
hierarchy. But if you put it in front of me, it will get consumed.
Yeah, same. I
And
won't turn it down, but
but
my mom and I
preference.
both did the Aperol, and we both were like, man, it's just so much prettier than it looks. I will never
It
get this
does
again.
it
And then
does
this
look
girl
pretty.
raved on limoncello, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay, everyone's doing the limoncello spritz, mom. We got to try it one time. And there's this like cute little near the Trevi fountain, like a €5
Yep.
walk up bar. We go get one. We both are like, it's so sweet. So it's like the opposite of an Aperol.
Yeah.
I just was like, this lifestyle is not for me, man. I need wine, Prosecco, or maybe just some vodka or tequila, and I'm a happy girl.
You're meant for the simple life.
I really
Paris would be
am.
proud.
I can't be classy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your hot takes?
My hot take. One, just plain and simple. I'm not ready for pants. I'm not ready. This is not a hot take. It's just like I know we're ready for like sweaters. I'm ready for sweaters and scarves and toques, but I'm not excited to put away the shorts and skirts and have to be in pants all year that drag on the ground in wet Vancouver. And then I just got to have that like line of wet pants underneath, and I'm not ready for it. So, like, it's kind of like I love fall and I know we're all excited for the clothes, but I can't tell if I'm excited or miserable about it. And that's more of
Why
a
don't
less of
you
a,
get like
hmm?
pants that are shorter?
Well, yeah, that's what you got to. But then, like, exactly, you still have pants. See what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm just not
It's the
ready for
principle of the
pants.
pants.
I know. And the wide leg pants, you want the right length, but as soon as they're the right length, then they still get wet. Because
Yeah,
that's the thing.
that's
Even
fair.
if they're like just because their umbrella can only carry so much. So even if they're like 7/8 ones, they're still gonna get wet at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a lot of fabric. Wide leg. Go back to skinny jeans, people.
Ooh, now
Because
that's a
then you
hot
can wear
take.
leggings that look like jeans.
True. But I
I'm
do love
sorry. I'll
my
choose
jeans.
comfort over fashion any day.
That's why you have a fitness Instagram and not a fashion one. Because it's
Like I
always
brought
comfortable.
one dress to Europe, and I see
Hmm.
these girls looking so darn cute. Could not be bothered. Could
Yeah.
not. I bought like trousers. I'm like, that's more practical. I need I need to be able to run away from these people.
I love it. I love it. So I got one more hot take. Soda water is only meant to be have two sips. Now hear me out, and this is so wasteful, but is it more of a hot take or is it like someone else? I hope you are the same as me. All I want is that initial and that first burning sip, and then second or third, and then it sits there for 5 minutes and I don't finish it. And is it just me? Like the
No,
novelty is all about the crack and like the first half, but like a full soda, you never really finish the full can.
okay, well, I mean, I guess, but
Anyone
I
else?
do get that with like energy drinks or things that are
Mm,
carbonated and then they go flat. Like Michael will
yeah,
drink a Celsius all day. I think that's
yeah.
gross. So is it
Food.
anything that's carbonated for you?
Yeah, I guess anything, but soda water specifically, because yeah, LaCroix will last fizzy a little bit longer, but I just find soda water specifically, the carbonation is like, bam, gone. And then at least even a Monster, there's still flavor, but after sparkling water has gone flat, it's just like metally tasting water. You know what I
That's
mean?
fair.
It's like,
That's
ugh.
fair. It's
So
like salty.
yeah, so I still will just chug it because I just don't want to be wasteful, but it's really only nice those first 2 sips, and then I'm over it.
I agree with that. Okay.
So
Okay.
there's my hot
Did you
take.
know, do you ever get like any soda water or anything on the plane when you fly?
Yeah, sometimes
Because like it's not as carbonated. Have you noticed that?
because of the air pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And that's
used
why
to get ginger
oh,
ale and now I'm like, that's trash.
yeah.
If it's not carbonated, I don't want it.
Or have you noticed when the flight attendants give you evil eye when you order Diet Coke?
No, why?
Because so here's a little fun fact. Diet Coke, when you're in the water or in the air, and yeah, you crack it, it like foams a lot. So next time you order one, watch how much the flight attendants struggle because they pour a little bit, it's all foam. They pour it just like something about Diet Coke specifically. So it takes them so much longer to get that one than versus all the others, they can just slug it back. So whenever I order
Weird.
Diet Coke, I'm very thankful. Or I just like ask, they're honestly also low key, they're probably more likely to give you the full can over Diet Coke than anything because I think they don't want to be bothered. They're like, oh yeah, just take it. I've had that happen so many
Yeah.
times because I'm like, thank you. I know it's so annoying, but I really want Diet Coke.
That is hilarious.
So there's my
No,
little
you know me,
travel
I don't
hack.
drink soda.
True.
Creeps me out. But
I
there,
respect it.
if you ever want extra snackies, just go in the back after they're done doing their service and ask them, and they'll give you endless amounts because they have nothing to lose. I do that every time.
Nice.
If it's like a snack I like.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say what airline has the best snack? You think? 'Cause you
Ooh,
know they all have the
yeah.
same.
I feel like
I have an answer.
JetBlue, like whatever airline's the one that will like literally give you 4 options. I love them. They're like, do you want this chocolate thing? Do you want a fruit bar? Do you want chips? Do you want crackers? And then like the Biscoff cookie and stuff.
Yeah.
I like those places.
Those
What
are
about
nice. I
you?
will say I flew JetBlue once this summer, and it was so funny. They would just be like, which ones you want out of the 4? And you would just say, I don't know. And they gave everyone in the airplane all 4. Like every single person. I was like, is this normal? But I think it was just a friendly flight attendant. But
I was going to say friendly.
But the best one, WestJet. They got these chocolate covered biscuits. And it makes me, I consider it. I'm like, Air Canada, I'm just going to get the Biscoffee basic pretzels. But if I go WestJet, it's going to be chocolate. So,
yeah.
And also SAS in Sweden, they give you a chocolate bar. So I'm just swayed by chocolate. Yeah, I know.
I went on Vueling to Rome and I didn't get anything. You could only purchase. Yeah.
Slimy. Recession.
Slimy. I could talk about airlines all day, every day. Just bring my flight attendant mother and my cousins that are all pilots on.
That would be a fun episode.
Right? I always ask my cousin questions. Like the questions like, what do you think during turbulence? Like I ask the hard-hitting ones.
Ask them to submit confession sessions. We should do a travel one, and the confession sessions all be from the pilots and that. And they can stay anonymous, so we wouldn't know who it is, but they just tell like the dirtiest, craziest things. That would be fun.
Okay, well, my cousin is like in his 50s.
Like, but like it would still be funny.
My other cousin, he just graduated and he's now like, I think he trains now or something. And he's, how old is he? He's got to be like 24, 26 now. So he's not into commercial yet, but he's flying. I could ask him. Okay, I would feel less weird asking him to submit some crazy stories.
True. I guess,
he would think it's funny. He's very sweet. He's single, guys.
Ooh,
so
hit him up. Hit him up.
My cousin, pilot.
Hoodie's Hinge when you got hit in the bars.
Right. I don't even know if he's single. Last time I saw him, I was like, are you dating anybody?
Imagine if his girlfriend listens.
Well, no, because he told me, this is the last time I saw him. He was like, oh, my last girlfriend, and I guess word got around our family that his heart got broken. And he obviously was very sad about it. And he was like, yeah, my last girlfriend, like it just didn't work out. But she's from like your high school. You know her. I was like, what? Wow.
And I'm finding out
you
now?
went deep into this. Well, we're not that close. Okay, my cousins, we see each other like once a year. I love them. I follow them on social media, but we're not like homies. Our family was never very close, but we like each other. It's just it's not like we see each other often, and I am the weirdo that lives 15 hours away from Washington, so I really never see my family.
That'll
But
do it.
when I asked him, I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And so I was like, okay, well, Cole, I have, oh, I said his name. I said I have a lot of single cute friends, and he didn't say anything. So
yeah, you put the ball in his court. He didn't hit it back.
No, and I said, okay, let me know when you got a next one. I'll see you at your wedding. Okay, anyways, let's get into our headline before.
That'd be great.
My cousin would never listen to this, so we're in the safe. One, he's a guy that like I feel like is not that into what we're about to talk about. So
perfect. You know what? Maybe it's
it
there's
could
a little
be.
bit. Tracy. Oh, no, I was going to say Tracy. That's a new nickname. Travis Kelcie. That's a little men's culture. A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Anyways, hit us with the headlines.
The most important headline of all.
Of course.
Taylor Swift is possibly dating someone in the football space, Travis Kelce. And so actually, you're totally right. It would be more. That's both worlds colliding.
Everybody wants.
That's a great point.
Name one human in North America that doesn't have a connection to this story.
That is so true. My brother-in-law literally texted in a group chat being like, our worlds collided because he loves football. And then his wife and I, Keltie and I, love Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And I said, another heartbreak prince? And he definitely didn't get the reference.
He's like, yeah.
Miss Americana. But basically, for those that don't know, Taylor Swift was seen at was it a Chiefs game?
I was going to test you. I was like, what team does he play for? I was going to test you.
No, I only knew this because I looked up this story. And so let me give you a little backstory on me being a Swiftie and knowing about this guy for the longest time. So he went to Taylor Swift concert. Who doesn't fall in love with Taylor Swift, right?
Of course.
And he like tried to go backstage to give her his number, and he talked about it. I guess he has a podcast. And he was like, oh, but I couldn't get backstage, whatever. And I think he just was like, I'd love to take her on a date, whatever. There was all these jokes because like he kind of put it out into the universe, shoot, what is it? Shot a shot.
Yep.
But like, obviously she's a megastar and like, she's like, whatever. Who are you? What? Doesn't even matter. So then like we keep like wondering because there's like these weird correlations with him. He keeps like denying things on his podcast. And then Sunday Night Football, the girlie is hanging with his mom, Donna, in like a suite, literally yelling, let's fucking go. I love this girl. She's so unhinged in the best way possible.
I love the unhinged era she's in.
She's just like unapologetically herself. Like even if anybody watched any VMAs of her, like she's drunk, having fun. Like she's just funny right now. And you can tell she's like, they're gonna hate me or love me no matter what. Might as well play into it. And then she was seen leaving with him. And Keltie sent me like a video of her walking out of the stadium with him.
Yeah.
And then also I recently just saw they were in a getaway car together. Like they were in some convertible together driving away. What do you think? Because like you date a professional athlete right now.
I know. I'm so for this. And here's what I got to say. Me being just a Taylor Swift lover, not Swiftie. So if I say things wrong, don't come at me. But I think she's done the artsy fartsy thing. She's dated the actors. She's dated the musicians. And I'm sure she comes home and a lot of it's like they talk deep, insightful things. And it's probably, I would love to hear it. And it's like, especially if you dated an artist, like it's a lot of feelings, a lot of talking about your art and all this. And every once in a while, you just need your head shaken. Like I fall into that. Like sometimes like YouTube and I'm like, oh, it's this beautiful thing. And And every once in a while, someone's like, cool, and moves on. You're like, oh yeah, none of this matters. None of this matters. I'm not saving lives. So like, I'm sure she's felt for a lot of years. It's like every decision, it means this and that. And there's like so much pressure to make something of everything. And I was like, maybe she just needs a good time, a break, a jog. Who's going to come? They're going to make some meals together. They're going to laugh. They're going to get drunk. They're going to have dinner. I've listened to his podcast, so he's not like an idiot. He's not like, no, nothing in there. But you know what I mean? I don't think every time he picks something, it's like, oh, look at that fall leaf. It reminds me of the meadows of, he's probably like, cool, it's fall, football. You know what I mean? And I think she needs that. I think she's in her unhinged era. She's having fun, getting drunk. And that's an athlete era, if I've ever heard of one. So I'm really for this. I'm for it. I don't know if it's forever, but like, I want her to have this fun. and I like
I
it.
agree. He's like a mustache man. What I
Oh
mean by
yeah.
mustache man is like that man that wears a crew neck constantly, that has like some jersey or a team on it, a big old handlebar mustache,
Mm-hmm.
and like likes hanging out with his buds. Like you can just tell. I've heard some of his podcasts too, and I'm like, you're just like a mustache man. Like that's just how I would describe it. And yeah, maybe, I mean, all I want to know is how did she give him a shot? Like
Yeah.
if you look him up, he wasn't that big. I mean, he's obviously a famous football player, but he had, oh my gosh, I looked this morning, he had like 2.4 million followers or whatever.
Yeah.
Now he's at 3 million. I bet he's at more.
Yeah.
So
but
obviously
it's
it's like, there was a debate with him being a little cloudy on it. Like,
oh yeah.
and that's where I'm like, how did she give him that shot? But like, maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe they're just having fun, and maybe she hasn't dated a athlete. I don't know.
That's why I was like, I don't think she ever has. So that's why I was like, she's always been in like the artsy, academic, smart. She hasn't gone down that route. So I kind of like it. And he could be thirsty. That's exactly. I thought like he at first was just playing into it. And was like, here's my moment of like, just like who I think I heard it on the Morning Toast. The best analogy was like, what's it? Jowsey from, oh God, what's his name? The guy from TV show, Netflix, Too Hot to Handle. Australian. What's his name?
I don't know. I don't.
Oh,
but
anyways,
wasn't Travis on like a dating show?
Yeah, but anyways, what I was saying, there was this rumor that not Ryan Jowsey. Why am I blanking on it? Anyways, his name was dating Khloe Kardashian, so he played into it because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna play into this clout. So I was like, I think that's what I thought Travis Kelce was doing at first. He's like, yeah, people are kind of semi thinking like, why not play into it? But then it's turning out to be like kind of true. And so I wonder if she just heard it enough. And then like I've been in those unhinged moments when you're like, what? Sure. Invite him. See what happens. You know what I mean? She could have very well, like he probably slid into her DMs like 20 times. And she was like, you know what? I will open my DM and I will respond.
I saw this funny reel of like all of the football players on the field. And it's like, you can like read their lips and they're like, oh shit. What? Taylor Swift? This one guy's like, who? And they're like, oh. And then it's just him in the corner like snickering. Like, I got the girl. Oh yeah. I'm just like, oh my God, I live for it.
It's amazing. It's very like amazing. America's sweetheart also. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So with the football player.
Do you not understand my reference of Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince?
I don't. I don't remember.
It's literally what she opens her entire concert to.
What song?
Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. It's me and you. That's my whole world. Listen to the whole way. She's a bad girl.
I don't know the song.
Don't know it. Okay,
I know the song. I can know the song and not have the lyrics. I will say one thing. Just because I haven't psychoanalyzed every lyric doesn't mean I don't know the song. You know what I mean?
I mean, you didn't even understand the reference. That's literally the name of an album, like the most popular song in her album.
Like that's what I'm saying. I could have listened to everyone and just kind of casually had it and go through and I listen. And it doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Because usually with Taylor Swift, just gets bunk. I listened to the album, listened to it a few times, but I'm not sitting there. I think you consume Taylor Swift different, like Swifties, than the average. Because Swifties will sit there and they'll listen to every lyric. And versus like, I'm just listening. And I'm like, oh, that lyric kind of stood out. And if I'm in my feels, I'm diving. But it's like, it's just playing. I'm not reading always too deep into some I do. But not every, I'm not analyzing every single one. So that's why sometimes I don't get the reference. I've listened. Don't get the reference.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
I'm going to defend
We can get in a fight about this. I'm here for it.
We are.
We clearly on the tangent. I know. You know how I feel about Taylor Swift.
I find it so funny when you attack me for not knowing when I've fully said I'm not a Swiftie. I don't know. I don't know how to make you happy. I just don't know.
I took you to a concert. You got to think that you become a Swiftie.
I still love it. Damn it. That's what it's like. I love her. She's in a top billing. But I've only got so many hours in a day to consume things. So I've got accepted.
Sure.
I'll listen. 1989's coming out. I'm going to download the whole thing again, listen to it.
And there's a play on Maybe Reputation at the same time. There's a lot of conspiracies. Anyways, with that being said, though, I'll just learn to love Keltie as she is, not
a
hardcore Swiftie. That's okay. It's just,
I hope you can still love me.
Oh, I just thought I was being so clever with the Heartbreak Prince. You didn't even know what I was talking about.
I was like, all the Swifties listening are like, oh yeah, girl. And all of us others were like,
They're like, move on, skip, Savannah. Damn it.
I'm trying. I try to like just figure it out as you say it so I could play along. And I'm like, she's going to get mad if I admit I didn't get it.
Exactly.
I sit here trying. I'm like, oh, fuck, what's the line?
Yeah, that's fair. You know, I don't love Skrillex, and
Exactly.
you do, so it's okay. But speaking of Taylor Swift, I did want to just touch on this.
Ooh.
Joe and Sophie. And why I say speaking of, because you guys, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner are headed for divorce, and Sophie Turner is now suing Joe Jonas.
Crazy.
And she like was absent. Like basically they announced they were divorcing. Her PR team did not do anything. His PR team came swinging with all these crazy allegations. And people were like, oh dear, she's an unfit mom. And then they're like, wait a second, this is really fucked up to accuse her of this. And then literally that night, she walked out with Taylor Swift. And this is a quote.
Amazing.
This is a quote from her song Vigilante Shit. Thick as thieves with your ex-wife. Taylor Swift. Like that's like one of her songs is she's like exposing. I think it's supposed to be Scooter Braun's wife or something.
Oh,
like
that
was
makes
helping
sense.
the wife.
That makes sense.
But that same night, she like came out saying she was suing him. So it's just a whole like PR. It's like, there's these jokes that like, oh, you know, Joe Jonas's PR team works hard, but like Taylor Swift's PR team works harder.
Like, yes. Amazing. Actually, I was at a physio yesterday and we were just talking couples Halloween costumes. Someone has to go as Sophie Turner and Taylor Swift walking out. Like I think like because they both looked so iconic. And it's such the like Taylor Swift is the it girl on earth, and then Sophie Turner's and like looking hot, freshly divorced, like he's out of, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this is so good. Someone please dress up like that. Please.
Oh, that's a great idea. Also, if you look at the footage of them walking, it's so funny because in order to like get a good picture, you have to walk so slow. Please, if you haven't looked at it, go watch and get a cackle and just know all these things are curated because they obviously wanted that photo. But it was amazing. But it's pretty wild. Once she announced she was suing, all these people are like, we stand with the queen. And they're like taking sides. And I was like, is this HBO taking sides?
Yeah.
And I just, isn't that wild? Can you even do that?
I was like, okay, here's also, this says wonders. So HBO, was posting here for like our queen, and all this from Game of Thrones, like clips. And so obviously HBO is like, no, we're standing with our girl, which like love. Especially like you see it like fast food companies all the time will just like get into pop culture. So probably someone in marketing for HBO. But the fact Netflix hasn't jumped in, and because they have like their whole Jonas like documentaries and all that kind of stuff. I feel I think it's Netflix. Yeah.
I thought it was Amazon Prime.
Either way, whoever is not HBO, one of them, the fact they haven't stood up and been like, team, you know what I mean? No one's standing. Because everyone's Team Sophie. Everyone's Team Sophie.
You gotta wonder though, like, why when you're that famous, like, why make it so messy? Like you gotta think, like, don't you have something that you can hide with it and like deal with it behind closed doors? Like, it just seems so messy, so fast. And it's just like, do you think it's a PR stunt? Like, I don't understand. What's your face? You're looking like sus about it.
No, I was thinking that was like a agreeing with you, like a thought. I was like, because I agree. I was like, why is that? I was like, wonder if the reason is, I was like, I was thinking, is it because it always starts out kind of clean? It always starts out with like, we're going to like, we're obviously divorcing. It's not like perfect, but let's try and do it, make for the kids, make it happy. And then they go to their own teams, and then their team's lawyers are like, hey, we're going to do this. And then they all get involved and they see the money in the divorce because you make a lot of money in divorce. And so they're like, hey, we got to get to the people first because we want to come out on top so we win. Because like the media is going to paint someone as the villain or not. So I think immediately it always starts out with like, oh, we put out our statement. It's nice, but like we're a little bit better. So then the public opinion takes us. And so the other side's like, wait, I thought this was civil. And they're like, okay, well, we got to say our side. And then I wonder if that happens quite often. You know what I mean? It starts civil, but everyone still wants to semi-win. Like, I hate to say it, everyone wants to win a breakup. Celebrities too.
I know, but you would just still think that if you're such a private person, like, what doesn't that sound like a nightmare? Like, I just think
it sounds like hell.
It just, like, you have so many resources and money to be like, we can deal with this and like not let people know for a while, or the paparazzi, whatever. But they're full blown like, fuck you, no, fuck you. Like, they're so crazy. And then if you watch, like, Joe Jonas will be, like, crying on stage,
Yeah.
and just the whole thing is just like, oh my god. I
And you
can't
know,
imagine.
and for all you
Divorce is
know, it's
hard, I can't imagine that.
yeah. And like for all we know, it's like they're very private and they've kept him. They're like, let's keep the public out. And then he just decides to go asshole. And I just think of myself, like, say it was all peaceful, let's keep it with us. Da, da. And then suddenly he puts the nuke out, and you're like, oh, you wanted to go nuke? I'll go nuke on you. Like
She's
sometimes I
like,
think,
Taylor Swift, your ass, bitch.
right? You're like, oh, you think you want to come out on top, and you like, all I think is the line that would like release as soon as he went for her and was like, is a bad mother partying. I'm with the kids. If I was in her situation, I'd be like, I have the ultimate nuke,
Yes,
Taylor
yeah.
Swift.
You're like, game over, buddy.
Oh, you think you want to play games?
Yeah. Let's dance.
Watch
And
this.
yeah, I love it. The tables have turned. He's like,
Yeah,
fuck,
I
dang.
know.
Like, oh,
That's
yeah.
that's why I was like, I bet you it was mutual, and he just tried to make it mutual, but a little bit of him on top. And she was like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. She's like, I got a connection for you, and it's going to be your worst nightmare.
Oh,
He's
it's
like,
the
I've been getting
ultimate.
haunted by this girl for years. Like, she's wrote so many songs
Yep.
about him. She, like, roasted him on SNL when they
Oh yeah,
broke
I
up.
forgot about that. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Queen.
Okay, well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that and that you like pop culture, because
Mhm.
if not, we got some topics for the girlies that don't want to talk about Taylor Swift and Sophie, Joe
Yeah.
Jonas, you know, amongst others. I saw this trend, and I
Mhm.
don't know about you, but like every now and then I feel impulsive. And you know,
Yeah.
there's some people that like want to buy like a car or buy a bag, I don't know.
Mhm.
I get impulsive with my hair. I'm notorious for this. I've dyed my
Yep.
hair pink. I've dyed it
Mhm.
brown and pink. I have chopped my hair off all the way before. And I've noticed I'm like, what can I Google? What's trendy right now with hair? There's
Mhm.
this thing called expensive brunette. Have you heard
Mhm.
of this?
I haven't, but I read what you said, so you expand on.
Okay, so a lot of women have been like dyeing their hair this expensive brunette look that's
Mhm.
basically different brown tones woven into your hair to kind of look like that multi,
Yeah.
faceted blonde. Like I remember, because I have brunette hair naturally, I would look at like my friend and she'd have this beautiful like curly blonde hair and you can see all the different textures, and I always wanted that when I was brunette, but mine was just like a chunk, right?
Mhm.
So I understand where they're coming with it, that there's all these different colors. The reason why it's called expensive is because you can
Mhm.
tell like somebody painted on this brunette and
Mm.
painted on the brown opposed to just like a box dye at home, right?
Yeah.
So I guess people are kind of copying this trend right now and making this like silky smooth, expensive brunette. They're going to hairstylists asking for this exactly.
Mhm.
And like the inspo is like a girl like Addison Rae that has it.
Yeah.
And low key, I have talked about going brunette again, but I've been
Mhm.
blonde for so long. Or I kind of want to dye my hair red. So I'm like kind of
Oh, that'd be
feeling that
fun.
vibe. So
Yeah.
I was very intrigued by this. And do you think a lot of girls are going to start going brunette?
I think it's always like it's just winter. You know what I mean? I think it's just such a natural thing. Like I feel like come fall, you just want warm things. Like all my girlfriends always come winter. It's just like the group chat, should I go more blonde, brunette? And we're all like, it's winter, go more brunette. So I think that's like also a bit of the season thing. And there's something about just your hair gets naturally lighter in the summer. So it's like, oh, this is my summer hair. So I think that's kind of the trajectory. And also like just think we just got a lot of Barbie core. So I think it was like a lot of
Oh,
blonde, a lot of blonde. So I think people are like, especially people who aren't like, it was really fun for me. I was like, oh my God, blonde is in, let's embrace it. And now everyone's like, we're sick of the blondes. We've seen too much blondes, brunette.
like, dang
And
it.
so, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just like the cycle of just hair. And like, there's really only, three, you could say like four, five. I know there's like five actual hair colors, like gray, blonde, brunette, like black, and then red. Like, you know what I mean? There's only so many, so it's just going to cycle through in different ways without going to like the crazy colors. So I think it's just a cycle. And if I love anytime people embrace what's their natural hair color.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something like I love that like all the brunettes, especially someone who maybe felt for the last few years, they constantly had to dye their hair blonde. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, just go back to your roots, no pun intended, for a little bit. So I like that.
I
I would
agree.
love to see you as a brunette. And especially like there's some, it's fun because it's not so go back to just being brunette. It's like go back to expensive brunette. It's just something kind of like old but new. I think
Zhuzhes it
that's
up. Yeah.
yeah. So I like
Yeah.
it. I will not be hopping on board, but I'm excited to see all my girlfriends that do it. I'd love
Have
to
you
see
ever
it on
thought
you.
about it?
I thought about dyeing my hair red
Uh-huh.
before, just because like I do technically have like a little bit of a red tinge to my hair. Like I'm blonde, but like I can, if I probably never saw the sun, my hair would start to look a little reddish. But like the sun just lightens it right up. So I've thought about it. Like I've like gone on the apps and you dye your hair a different
Oh,
color.
yeah.
And I've thought about brunette for like, when was it? Like when Hailey Bieber started letting her hair go brunette, and that I thought about it. I was like, do I try it? It worked for her, but I think about it for approximately 3 seconds and then I have a panic attack at the thought of dyeing my hair. So that's a no
That's
for me.
fair. Also, the thing is, I think with like your hair, you can't actually really do it with the seasons because it's so hard to get your hair back to blonde. Because when I dyed my hair brown and pink, it took my friend so long to get that out. And like we were there for hours, like a whole day. And then I like my hair had it just was not a good thing. So that's why I was like, I'll never do that again unless I'm serious and I'll stick with it. But I'm so impulsive. She's like, I know 3 months you're gonna come back, aren't you? What did I do? I came back and I said, make me blonde. She was like, I hate you. But yeah, I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated. But I would love to. I'm like, when I go home back to Puerto Rico, maybe I will.
It'd be fun.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like I like my natural hair color, but I just think I would do lighter just because like when they say like you're in autumn, so you go a little bit like you have the lighter tones and things like that. So I just kind of stuck with it. But now I look at the back of my hair and sometimes it just looks like I have a lot of grow out, but in reality it's a balayage. So I'm like, maybe I just go back to normal. Don't worry about dyeing my hair anymore. I dye it like once a year anyways. But my sister-in-law, she's been blonde for all that I've known her. 8 years. She went brunette this weekend.
Oh, did she? Is she
did it.
Natural brunette or is she natural
She
blonde?
is. Yeah, she is. I've never seen her brunette.
Sworn.
She looks just like you with the natural blonde, but no, she's just oddly, she says she's natural brunette, but
fast ago. I would have thought Keltie was. Sorry, I shouldn't. Can I say her name?
Yeah, you can say her name. I don't care.
I was like, "Hi, Keltie, real estate." I like thought she was blonde for sure.
No, that's what I thought. But her mom is not blonde like naturally either. So, and Michael has dark brown hair.
Yeah.
So it would make sense.
It does, but some people just pull it off, so you forget.
Truly, she really does pull it off. I feel like when I had really blonde hair, I did not pull it off. So I'm like, I think I need to go a little darker. I've just noticed things that I'm like, it's like me cutting my hair. As much as I'd love to do it, I look horrible. I look like Kristen Wiig in, what is that movie? Bridesmaids?
Oh, yes.
But like she pulls it off. I did not pull. I just look like nerdy. It was not cute when I did it.
Just like when Hailey Bieber got the bob. It was like,
oh my God, so many people did that.
She looks so amazing, but it was just like, everyone's thinking it. I even thought about it for a second. I was like, not you having to like crying on the internet 3 years ago when your hair was short.
Yes.
And then spending 3 years growing it. I'm like, no, this is me this is me. I've accepted.
I agree.
This is what we're sticking with.
I think this might be the difference. I don't know about her, but I feel like people that get bobs and they look really good, they have extensions in. So they make it thick. Like, like us girlies with thin hair, it would just flip over our shoulders and it would just, no. But the only way I'd ever do it, I've told Michael this, is hair extensions because I've done it in the past and it's looked horrible. And I've just had flippy hair forever.
Good hack. Good hack. Good thing to think
Good
of. Yeah.
hack. Okay.
I like it.
This next little topic is a quick, short, simple, sweet one, but I just had to do it and rub it in everybody's face. That 36 million people are picking up pickleball paddles. I love pickleball. I started doing pickleball like years and years ago. And guess what, guys? It dates back to 1965 in Washington.
Fun fact.
Yeah, but basically it just got traction picked up again because of COVID, distance, and it's cheaper. So, instead of like think of tennis, you have to buy all the balls, you have to usually buy a lesson, rent out a court. Pickleball, you can pretty much like buy everything for under $30. And I just thought it was funny because like David Dobrik did a celebrity pickleball tournament, and then professional athletes like LeBron James, Tom Brady have like purchased professional pickleball teams. So like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think love, first of all, love anytime people get into sports or fitness, but also a little plot twist. Okay, tennis is the best, but obviously it's hard. Pickleball's cool. Paddle. Paddle is where it's at. And I think in like 5 years, paddle could be the up and coming thing because it's like the perfect hybrid. Like you're in Spain right now, which is actually the capital. Like every major Spanish player is from Spain, every major paddle player is from Spain. So it's kind
Wow.
of like a hybrid of the two, but it's super popular in Europe. You'll see suddenly all those tennis courts you see in Barcelona, they're not tennis courts, they're paddle courts. Now your
Really?
point, and so it's like this hybrid. It's kind of like squash. So you could play off the walls. It's like a thicker, almost like really thick tennis racket that's shorter. So kind of like a thicker pickleball.
Uh-huh.
And then you use a tennis ball, but it's a lot easier. You can lob it. It's not like you don't need quite as much form as tennis. So like older people like it, just like how they like pickleball. You don't have to be as athletic, but if you're
Yeah.
athletic, so it's just like the barrier to entry is a lot less. And I hate to say it, I think like pickleball is a little campy in the sense it's like, oh, well, you'd play in the backyard, but like versus like tennis is like a sport. Paddle's like the nice in between. Like it feels like you're going to play a tennis game, but more accessible. And it's everywhere in Europe. Like that's what me and Megs go and do for fun. So like it's all over Sweden, all over Spain. So it's very like European. So that's why I can imagine just like Aperol
Hmm.
Spritz made it over. I could
Yeah.
see it as a new, like, just like anything, just think how tennis came over here because it's very like prim and proper and European. And they played at Wimbledon. And so now it's all over. Obviously, it's was been in North America forever, but just like the cultural grasp it has, I could see paddle doing that.
Okay,
So
that's
there's my
cool.
little prediction.
All right, I like that. And last one I have is
Mhm.
men, this trend that men think of the Roman Empire. And okay, for those that don't know, there's this TikTok joke of like, go ask your man, like, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? And majority of men say like often
Mhm.
and like more than once, whatever it may be. And so everyone's like, what is the woman's version of this? And my theory personally, and I saw it on TikTok as well, so I feel like it
Mhm.
validated it, is your ex-best friend. I
Mm.
have a girl that she was my best friend in college and we just like stopped talking. There's nothing behind it. Still think about
Mm.
I still dream about that girl because it haunts
Okay.
me. So I'm like, that's my Roman Empire. What do you
Mm.
think?
I think I'm not going to claim this, but Victorian England. I saw this on Twitter. I was like, no, this is it. Just like how many times a week do you think of Princess Diana, her fashion, Queen Elizabeth? You know what I mean?
Never.
Just like how often do you think of I think that's the equivalent. Just that's
Never.
my I think
You think often?
I was like, at least once a week, something about Queen Elizabeth like pops into my mind or comes into context. Or like Princess Diana, at least once a week, I'll see like, oh, like you walk by Gucci and I was like, oh, that is the Princess Diana bag or something like, you know what I mean? Or you just see a fashion, like you see biker shorts and like oversized sweater. I think of all those famous photos of her. So it's
Well, you
maybe
know
Princess
what?
Diana. So I
It's
think
because
it's
I'm
like
uncultured
English
American.
royalty. I think though, I think this is like, I honestly think this is it. Like Victorian England slash like the monarch. I
Wow, okay.
feel I feel
You
that's like the
guys
Roman Empire.
DM us what you think.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious.
Who do you think
Wait,
of more, your ex best friend or the queen?
yeah, I'd love to know. Um, I asked Michael, and he like was like never, but he's like, I think of the Stone Age often, and I'm
Oh,
like, what? And he was like, yeah, all the
that's
time, all the time. Did you ever ask Megs?
I haven't asked him yet, but I also know his answer is yes. Just
Really?
like just like I here's also why I think men think of the Roman Empire a lot. I think a lot we're just embarrassed to like they sound cultured if they say yes. So I think that was half of it. And also, I'm sorry, step in if I've said this story before, but about a year ago, Megs is addicted to chess and he plays chess so much. And I looked at him one day, I was like, why'd you like it? And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, it's mental warfare. It's like, oh, that's what you men are doing. Like, I just thinking they're going like, let's play a little chess. And it's just like fun little dinky thing they do. And I'm like, oh no, he's sitting there and be like, I'm going to kill this guy. And you know what I mean? And I was like, I think it all
Absolutely.
comes down. So I think like, what does it come down? They think of 300. They think of gladiators. They're thinking of like primal men at war fighting. And I think that's why they think of it so much.
Wow.
That's my theory. Or at
Yeah.
least Meg's. I'm like, he's in his little, he's not playing hockey. He's in the movie 300.
Yeah.
his mind.
It is weird. I wonder how many men do play chess, because Michael plays chess too, and I think it's strange. I'm like, when have we ever played chess? But he'll play it online. He'll watch freaking YouTube videos on how to win it.
Same.
He's gotten into gotten into spearfishing. And so he watches a million vlogs on these Australians. Are actually quite fun. I've watched them with him. Of them, like, they're basically like, Crocky, okay, we're going to go out into the wander and, like, we can only eat what we catch. And they'll go out for, like, a week. And, like, some days they don't catch and then some days they do. And they just are eating, like, this raw freaking octopus. And it just looks disgusting. And they're like, oh, it's really not that bad. And Michael will watch these things. And then his favorite is this guy that also has a channel. They'll do it, like, vice versa. So, like, whatever he catches, say Frank catches and Steve eats. And then whatever Steve catches, Frank eats. And, like, one of them won't catch something. It's the funniest thing ever. But I'm like, what? This is what you watch? All right. I mean, it could be worse. But it just makes me laugh. It's something about that, like, catching my meat, you know? I'm like, all right, you do you.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Just like,
as Michael's never caught anything spearfishing.
That's why they watch it, because they've never actually done it. So it's kind of like they get.
No, Michael does it.
Done it if
he
they watch
spearfishes,
it.
But he doesn't
said
catch
he
it.
never done it. Oh.
No, he spearfishes multiple times a week.
He just doesn't get anything.
No, I've gone out with him. No.
It's even more.
It's actually really hard, to be fair. But it's just so
hard.
funny. I'm like, he did catch a lobster his very first time with his buddy. Like, they picked up the lobster, but, like, he didn't get to eat it or anything because I wanted to go to bed. And, like, they weren't going to barbecue it. And I was like, nah, it's my bedtime. So, like, it was my fault we didn't eat it. But that was the only thing he ever caught. And I would say it was his friend caught it, not him, because his friend actually fishes. So I support it. But I'm like,
I love it.
It's a silly thing. But, you know, I love Taylor Swift. So he can also say that's silly.
Everyone's got a thing. Everyone's got a thing.
Yeah. And we'll wrap up. We got 2 confession sessions. Do you want to read the first one?
I'm on it. Last weekend was my 21st birthday, and I made the mistake of hitting legs before going clubbing in San Francisco. I always work out on my birthday. It's a tradition. It's tiny writing.
You need your glasses?
No, it was just this big on the screen. When I went out, my legs were so tired and my shoes were uncomfortable. So about 5 drinks in, I took my shoes off in the club and made my boyfriend carry them. Flash forward a few more drinks and I got kicked out of VIP section for dancing on a sofa. Super unhinged and disgusting, but don't worry, I made it home and washed my feet off before bed. Love you both. Honestly,
good job.
The fact you're like, I was like, we've all had that moment where you're like, I'm aware this is gross. I'm not doing this because I don't care. I'm just like, I can't do this. I'm not going to make it through the night. And you washed your feet before bed. And that's all that comes down to is like, don't bring the germs into your bed. And
absolutely.
Well done. Little clap.
And you didn't lose them. Your boyfriend carried them. So shout out.
Also, King. Nice boyfriend. Carried the shoes. Well done.
Supportive.
He's a keeper.
I agree. Okay, mine is, she has a work confession for us both. Yesterday, I had to take a work call while on my run because I couldn't fully fit a 13-mile workout before my 8 a.m. meeting. 13-mile workout. Dang, girl. Thankfully, I answered it while on my cool down. So running at an easy pace. And then she had parentheses, you know, you're running easy when you can participate in a work call and no one knows you're running. The life of marathon training with a corporate job. I love
it. That's amazing. That's amazing. How do I just love all my visual went to right away. I was like, how do you not sound like you're running? Because I'd be like, and
same.
What about
after 13 miles?
The reports. But the cool down, I was like, but marathon training is a full-time job. So I was like, you only have so many hours in a day. And she's hacked the system.
She hacked the system. You go, well Glenn Coco.
Clap, 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 clap.
Clap it back.
ASMR
2
claps.
So yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Go let us know what your Roman Empire is. Maybe we'll report back on it. And do not forget to leave us a review. Go check out our YouTube channel. Go check out our Instagram. And maybe submit a confession session if you're feeling frisky.
We would love it. And we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.